Hello and welcome to the Oversharing Mum channel. This is where we talk about all things conception, pregnancy, birth, babies. So please do like and share if you like the content. That really supports our channel. So as you know, this channel is led by myself, Sasha, and Romana. Romana is currently pregnant with her third child. So she's just a little bit busy at the moment. And as she puts it, her brain is a bit of a mush right now. So she will be back in the next weeks. So if you want to see the progress of her pregnancy, or if you have any questions for her, then she's very happy to do Q&As and tell you more about her pregnancy progress and the various stages, what she feels at various stages. Today I really wanted to talk to you about conception. We actually have a really useful material in general on different topics, but specifically on conception we have one that is called the preconception checklist. Why did we even create it? So the reason we've created is because it got us thinking when we were trying to get pregnant, and when we did get pregnant, we realized that we were not quite prepared. And even though there is information, you can read about birth, there seems to be all this focus on birth specifically, and there appears to be this fear of birth, and so all the focus goes there, when actually it's a very small part of it. And there hasn't really been any talk, or at least I haven't come across material which considers, why do we actually get pregnant? Why do we want to get pregnant? What are the motivations? What are the intentions behind those things? And then, of course, when you do get pregnant, how does it feel? We do hear that, there is hormonal surges and there are all these changes that happen. But, I wasn't prepared really how it would feel physically, how it would feel mentally. So that's why we're creating these resources, Romana and I, just to create a bit more support. We feel that if we had this information, we could have been better prepared. Like I cover in some of the videos where we talk about like nutrition and exercise and things like that. And I just, wish I knew. So there are other videos that cover this. So you can find them on our channel. But today I wanted to talk to you about this. So the conception. And why do we want to get pregnant? It's a really important topic because we've got the animal brain, right? So this is all the instincts, and it's really so normal to want to have a child. It is such a normal response, and by normal I mean as part of nature. It's just such a natural progression. So it's all to do, our brain is designed to keep us alive. We have a natural fear of death because that is what kind of drives our desires and what makes us want to live. But having a child is actually part of this journey of where it's a continuation of our genes. So it's part of our fear of death, actually. So we would be passing on our genes. So it's as though we continue life through our children. And so it's the most natural thing to want. However, what we've realized is most people have children for different reasons. So because we live in a society with a lot of information, because of all the inventions and all sorts of things that we've created to make our lives easier, and just the way that we've developed our brains, how we think about things, all the philosophical concepts and all sorts of things. And especially with the technology side of things, it has made people feel really quite isolated and less connected. It's ironic because we feel like we're more connected than ever because of all the global connections and because of all the people we can speak to and connect to like we could have never done before. However, a lot of people find themselves really feeling quite lonely and isolated, and it's not the same as one-on-one contact or the sort of friendships how we used to have friendships. So what I wanted to touch upon is the fact that often, whether we are honest with ourselves or not, the motivation behind having children might be, what's the best way to put it? Might be driven, but by not quite the right intentions. So not by nature-driven intentions, but by, for example, somebody wanting to have this unconditional love, wanting to have this love from this child. Well, unfortunately, it creates the wrong sort of dynamics. And so nothing is necessarily wrong. We're not trying to say that something is right or wrong. We're just trying to bring attention to your own personal intentions and to help you figure this out and to help you get to the healthiest state of when you do decide to have a child, so that it's as close to the nature response as possible and less sort of through these psychological kind of dependencies, if you like. And so in our resource, we do go through various checklists. We do find that it's quite a useful thing if you have a sort of list that you can go through and tick and see and ask yourself these questions. So, for example, if I had to personally describe why we got pregnant, I can tell you for a fact that we thought it was for right reasons, but it wasn't, and it took a while to really understand it. So there was a lot of pressure. Maybe some of you are feeling this, maybe some of you can connect. I'm not sure, let us know. But I was feeling the pressure from a quite a young age, when my mom and my parents really were saying, when are you going to have children? When are you going to have children? This was something that was constantly there because they so wanted a grandchild. And of course, this is no blame whatsoever. You know, each person is allowed to want what they want. And of course, it's perfectly natural for them to want to be grandparents. However, because there was this pressure since I was literally 20 years old, maybe, I kept on hearing this information. But I wasn't ready for a relationship. I wasn't ready to start a family. So I did manage to carry on with my own life and do what I needed to do. And then when I did meet my husband, and then when we did get married, we did start discussing this, but not because we were so passionate of wanting to have a child. So, and this is why I want to mention it, because actually, because we were not so passionate, because there was this pressure on me to have a child, and because we kind of said, well, we are married now, isn't it the natural progression for us to have a child? So that was one of our reasons, which of course is not really a reason. You have to really want to have a child. And I only know this now because the difficulty and the joy that comes with having a child, it is so unlike anything I've ever known, that I think if you have this genuine desire to have a child, you would have a great time. But because we were like, oh, I'm not sure, it was a really, oh, it was a challenge. In that sense. But also another reason why we did have a child is because we kept hearing another information from the outside world, family, friends, but also from people in general, is the age thing. It's like, well, clock is ticking, you're getting older, you're not going to be able to get pregnant. And so that was another thing, because we thought, well, we do want to have a child. We were not ready then, but because we thought, okay, we also had quite a few acquaintances and family members, etc., who were trying to get pregnant and who couldn't get pregnant for a while. And Romana is one of them. It took her over 2 years to get pregnant with her first child. And so because we were surrounded by this information, we kind of thought, oh dear. So first, the clock is ticking, and second of all, we might not even be able to just get pregnant like this. It might take us a long time. So in our heads, we were kind of just like creating these timelines, useless, completely useless, because you do not know. This is just something playing God, but very silly. So we were thinking, oh, perhaps it'll take us maybe 1.5, 2 years to get pregnant. By this point, we will be ready. If you can, just saying that sentence, I can now hear how wrong it sounds, and how wrong it was to decide to have a child on that basis. So this is really the only thing we wanted to explore. I mean, I don't want to speak for Romana, but she's got very different motivations, and I think it might be a very interesting video, if she'll be up for it, we'll see, to maybe explore her motivations, because they were very different, and neither hers nor mine are as natural or as great as we would have liked them to be. And so one of the phrases, I don't remember the exact one, but we have it in our resource, is basically we wanted to draw attention to the fact that if we don't resolve our own issues, if we don't resolve our own, psychological triggers that are not serving us, then we will be passing them on to our children. So if, we're doing something out of the wrong motivation, of course it's all judgment. You have to judge for yourself what's right, what's wrong, and you don't have to listen to us at all. This is just really to get us thinking, to get some attention, to start talking about certain topics that might be important, and something that we may not have realized, and then maybe change a few things, make it better, make it easier for ourselves, make it a more enjoyable journey, because having a child, like I say, it is a great challenge, but it is also a rewarding and fantastic experience if you're ready. I didn't feel the rewarding experience for a very long time because of my incorrect motivations, and so this is why I wanted to share this with you. So yeah, this is really it. I just wanted to tell you on my exam. I didn't want it to be a preachy sort of video where I'm saying, oh, make sure your motivations are right. I just really wanted to share with you my own motivations, which I consider as incorrect, and I now have the links, and I now understand why it was incorrect and how it has contributed to this exaggerated feeling of a challenge of having a child, when it doesn't have to be. Children are great. They're so interesting and wonderful. And so my view has changed drastically, but it took me a while to make these connections. So the reason we're making these videos is to help you make these connections for yourself a little bit quicker and in advance, so you can prepare yourself and have a nicer and more enjoyable journey. So I shall leave it here for today. We will see if Romana will be up to discuss her motivations. But of course, she is pregnant, and she's a cocktail of all sorts of feelings and hormones. But anyway, if you like our content, comment, subscribe, write to us. What sort of material would you like to see from us? And we'll keep on creating various resources and checklists and freebies and all sorts of things. We're working on a few courses as well. So yes, thank you for watching, and please subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.